If you've ever come home and then just collapse on the couch, spend your whole evening watching Netflix, if you felt like you are doing everything right, where you have the planners, the time blocks, the late night hustle, and yet you still wake up feeling behind, right? Like you feel like you are not fulfilled and there's still a lot more that you can accomplish. So that was me. I've experienced all of these things at each point in my journey. I've been burned out from a demanding 9 to 5. I've been overwhelmed by a million of side hustle ideas and equally stuck in a loop of inconsistency and guilt. Now, if you've ever whispered to yourself, I know I'm capable of more, but I can't seem to make this happen, then this video is for you. So I'm sharing the unfiltered truth about what kept me stuck and the small, powerful shifts that helped me finally find clarity, confidence, and consistency. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only see yourself in my story, you'll walk away with hope and a roadmap to begin your own breakthrough. Hello there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and I help ambitious women with a full-time job find the time to build their creative side hustles without burnout. So today I'm sharing the full story behind my productivity journey, how I went from overwhelmed and unfulfilled after work to finally building a creative side hustle in a way that works with my full-time job, my energy, and my lifestyle, and not against it. So this video is for every ambitious woman out there who feels like she's behind, stuck, and wondering if she will ever have the time or energy to finally make her dreams happen so they can one day finally quit corporate. So let's start from the beginning. Now, it all started about 4 years ago, or a little bit more than 4 years ago. I think I would spend my evenings watching Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, any TV show out there. Trust me, I would be watching it. And that's not because I did not really care about my goals. It was just because I was drained mentally, right, for the most part, and not necessarily physically. I gave all of my energy to my 9 to 5 and really had nothing left for myself. I felt stuck. I felt behind, and honestly, I really felt like I was wasting my potential. I did not want to be this person who only goes to work and then when she's back from work just watches TV, right? Like that was basically my life. Not really doing anything for me, but my life was really focused on others. But I wanted to be the kind of person who is smart, knowledgeable, and someone who actually invests in her personal growth. That's the person that I wanted to be. So I was at a place where I knew that I had so much potential. I knew that there was like so much potential in me, that there was like a lot that I can bring to the table, a lot that I can give to the world. And I was so unfulfilled and afraid that I will not be able to tap into that potential and actually explore my creativity. And then I started reading, mostly business books at that point. I was listening to influencers on Instagram and YouTube and listening to a lot of podcasts about personal growth. And then I discovered the idea of side hustles and my brain just went into override. And I wanted to do everything. I wanted to do a podcast, a YouTube channel. I wanted to start a blog. I wanted to start a business, like a service-based business. I bought courses. I invested in coaches. And I even started posting on Instagram. I started posting on Pinterest, on TikTok, on Facebook. I started a Facebook group. I became a part-time social media manager. And I did all of this all at once, like everything at the same time. I was doing all of this at once. I was chasing what I saw online. I heard people saying I make 10K every single month doing XYZ, but I didn't realize that even if that were true, because we know not everything is true, but even if that were true, right? I, with a full-time job, I did not have the same time, the same energy. I did not have a team or the freedom to even achieve that goal within the time frame that all of these influencers were promising and talking about. So I ended up doing and doing and doing, and then I ended up overcommitted, then overwhelmed and burnt out. I was so burnt out. Like when I think about it right now, it just gives me goosebumps. I was so burnt out. I always had the longest to-do list that really never got done, because for me, all I needed to do was just have a to-do list, just write everything down I needed to do. It was always so long and never ever done. I was tired, I was frustrated, and about 2 years later, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure. Now that was a wake-up call, because even in that state, I used to work out like crazy. I maintained my workout routine, right? And I was eating right. Well, not very, very right. I cooked all of my meals. I don't eat out. And I worked out like almost every single day. But that was my wake-up call when I got diagnosed with high blood pressure. And I remember thinking, this can't be my life, right? I cannot live like this. And this was really me thinking about the exhaustion and the burnout I was like, I cannot live like this. Like always stressed, always overwhelmed, always in a constant state of burnout. I thought there has to be a way for me to do the things that I want to do, for me to achieve my goals without constantly being burned out, without constantly feeling drained like every single day. And that's when I dove into productivity books. I started reading a lot of productivity books and then trying all of the apps and watching all of the YouTube videos. And guess what? I got overwhelmed again. However, once I read the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller, that book changed my life. I am not even gonna lie. Now, before I read this book, I've been praying and trusting God for peaceful wisdom on how to manage my time and all of that. And I read this book. I know the Lord sent me to this book. Like the Lord recommended this book for me through someone on YouTube. And I read this book and it was just like amazing. It was amazing. Like I still remember the feeling after reading this book and actually starting to implement the one thing strategy from this book. And this book has guided not only my productivity, but some really major decisions in my life. So I decided to go deeper, not wider. I paused the social media chaos and decided to focus on books. I stopped trying to apply everything, but instead I implemented the one thing strategy in my reading strategy. I started applying one thing that I learned from every productivity book that I read. And after reading a couple of productivity books, I was able to take lessons learned, do a lot of trial and error, and finally create a productivity system that applies to my lifestyle. A system not only based on my present circumstance, but a system based on my values, based on who I am. And that is exactly what I teach my clients to do too. And even when I started my business, now that I'm on YouTube again, I had to build a system that works for my lifestyle, one that honors my 9-to-5 job, my side project, my personal life, and my rest. And now I apply this one thing principle, the one thing strategy in every single area of my life. I try to simplify every single thing using this principle. For example, I have a strategy when it comes to reading books. Now, I want to be that person that actually applies what they have read from a book, right? I do not just want to read books just to have a count and say, oh, I read 50 books this year. No, I want to actually apply the lessons that I learned from every book that I read. And once I started reading, I became so overwhelmed by trying to take all of the knowledge from these books. So I had to come up with a system, right, to really simplify the process of me applying whatever knowledge I get from books. And I simply still used the one thing strategy, right? Every single book that I read, I ensure that I have one lesson that I learned from that book. So every self-help book that I read, I need to take one lesson. What is the one thing that I learned from this book? So I don't focus on 3 things. I might at the back of my mind have 3 things that I've learned or more, but there is always that one thing that I know I got from this book after each read. Now I write it down. I use Notion to organize my books, to organize my reading list. And there is a template in Notion that you can use as well if you want to start applying this for yourself. So doing this had 3 effects for me. Number 1, I retain what I read from books better. And I can point to a book and easily tell you exactly what I learned from that book. Number 2 is I apply what I learned from a book easily, right? It's easier for me to apply what I learned from a book, and I see faster results from what I apply. And lastly, once I reread a book, I always get another one thing, another one lesson that I can learn from that book. So I'm a huge proponent of the one thing strategy because it just keeps things simple for me, right? It helps to stay focused. And I am more productive since I started applying or implementing this one thing strategy. However, not everything changed overnight, right? The journey took 4 years. And I am still learning every single day. I'm still tweaking, I'm still evolving, because when you stop learning, that is when you stop growing. With every change in circumstance, I need to adjust. And adjusting takes time. But because I understand myself and I already have a system, it takes less time for me to adjust to changing circumstances. For example, when I recently got laid off, as of the time of taking this video, that was about a month ago, I fell back into the trap of overcommitting. But I caught myself, right? Instead of doing more, I doubled down on what was actually working. And then I treated job hunting as a job because we all know how much time it takes to apply for jobs and how many jobs you actually need to apply for before you even get an interview. But that clarity clarity really helped me stay grounded and productive even in uncertainty. And because I already have my system, I'm able to adjust better and quicker than if I did not have a system. Now, here's what I wish someone had told me sooner, right? Even though I'm not sure if I would have listened, but I am glad that I have learned these lessons now, and I am able to actually teach my clients and teach you who's watching this video. Be content with slow growth. Be content at every stage in your journey, because contentment brings you peace, rest, and joy, and it keeps you grounded. The second lesson is be patient with yourself in your journey. Making mistakes is part of the process. It's part of your journey. You learn from your mistakes, right? It is not the end of the world. The third lesson, this is important, focus on consistency and not speed, because consistency will take you further rather than speed and exhaustion. And the final lesson is enjoy the process. I say this in all my videos because it is that important. So this isn't just about your goals. It's not about your goals. It's about who you become. If you're not enjoying the process of achieving your goals, you 100% need a reset, and you really need to reevaluate your system. So if any part of my journey hit close to home, if you're tired of spinning your wheels, juggling your 9 to 5, and still not seeing progress with your side project, I want you to know this. You are not the problem. You just need the right system, the right support, the right strategy. And if you're ready to finally get consistent, clear, and confident about building your dream business without burning out, even with a full-time job, I'd love to support you. Book a free clarity call with me. We'll talk through what is keeping you stuck and map out a path forward that actually works for your life. The link is in the description box or the comment section below. I can't wait to meet you and help you finally move from survival mode to sustainable progress and success. Now, before you go, please comment below which part of my story resonated with you most. I'd love to hear where you are with your productivity journey and your side project goals. Thank you so much for watching. If you love this video, please like, share with someone who needs a productivity boost, and please subscribe to this channel for videos every single week. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.